Konnagar is a small town located roughly 25 kilometers away from India's Kolkata state. In Konnagara, there is a small town called Nagar. With about 450 people living there, it's a relatively small and quiet community where a teenage girl named Priya lives. On the evening of February 16, 2024, Priya came home from her school and sat down to complete her homework. Something was constantly disturbing her. She kept hearing the sound of a TV from her neighbor's house, which was stopping her from finishing her homework. It wasn't just the TV sound that bothered her. The neighbor's dog was also barking strangely, adding to her frustration. Priya knew that both father and mother from the neighbor's house were likely at work, leaving their 8-year-old boy alone at home. She thought that the boy must have been playing TV with full volume and probably bullying the dog as well. She decides to go to the neighbor's house to scold the kid and turn off the TV herself. As she approached the house, she noticed that the main door was open. Without thinking much, she walked straight inside. Immediately after entering the house, Priya was shocked and out of fear started calling for help. Even the neighbors who rushed inside the house couldn't bear to see what just had happened. It wasn't just the neighbors. When the police arrived at the crime scene, they had never witnessed such an horrifying crime scene before. Pankaj Shanta Sharma tied the knot in 2012. This couple wasn't financially well settled, just an average middle-class Indian family. After 4 years of waiting, in 2016, they welcomed their first baby boy. Pankaj worked at a private sector while Shanta worked at a restaurant. Because of their work schedule, the child was dropped off and picked up from school by a shared auto rickshaw. Shanta made sure to cook dinner for her son before leaving to work. When the boy got home from school, he would always serve the dinner by himself and wait for his parents till they come back from work. This routine is a typical Indian middle-class family's life. Nothing weird, right? But on February 14, 2024, when Priya entered the home, she witnessed a horrifying scene. The 8-year-old boy had been murdered in a brutal manner. As mentioned, no one in the area had ever seen a crime scene with such intent. The boy was lying on the floor with a stone smashed into his face. His entire body was covered with injuries, with knife marks all over, with blood stains covering the room, showing clear signs of the 8-year-old's violent struggle. The doctor who conducted the postmortem later revealed more shocking details. The boy had been attacked with anything and everything found inside the house. Statues of God had been thrown at him in the attack. A kitchen knife had been used to cut his veins in his hand. When police recovered the knife, they noticed that it was bent on one side. That's how much force the murderer had used to kill this boy. Now the local people were not just scared, but also wanted to know who the killer was as soon as possible. So the police immediately started their investigation. The police and forensic team sealed off the entire area to prevent any evidence from being lost and began compiling a list of suspects. The first person on this list was the auto rickshaw driver, as he was the last person to drop off the boy from the school. However, his alibi proved that he wasn't at the crime scene. But Pankaj brilliantly recalled a fight his son had with a 9-year-old boy from the same school. At first, he didn't want to bring this up, but after the incident, he couldn't think of anyone else except the boy. But the police had other questions to answer before investigating the 9-year-old boy. As mentioned before in the story, the neighbor had a dog that didn't bark during the time of incident, meaning someone well known to the dog and the family might be the suspect. Not just because of the dog, there were no evidence of forced entry, no doors broken, and no walls damaged. Also, by seeing the crime scene and the blood splatters, it was clear that the killer's dress would have been covered in blood. So how could no one notice him walking out in the broad daylight with blood stains all over? So now police had clear conclusion that someone close to the family is the killer. As the days passed, police were struggling to find the killer, which led to political protest all over the state, led by the BJP. As the ruling party and CM was Mamata Banerjee. This situation created immense stress and pressure on the police. So, a new police team with 5 forensic experts were working 24 into 7 to decode and resolve this case. Initially, police had doubts on Pankaj, the boy's father, suspecting he might have had an extramarital affair, leading him to first kill the boy and later plan to kill his wife too. Police had a reason to suspect Pankaj because of a footage that was found exactly 30 minutes after the murder, showing a young woman walking suspiciously with a mask on her face in the same area. So first, police showed the footage to Pankaj and asked about the woman. Pankaj immediately recognized her. Yes, her name was Ifta Parveen. She had been a close friend to Shanta Sharma for a long time and visited the house almost every day to meet Shanta. Now the police turned their entire investigation towards Parveen, secretly adding her to the suspect list. Initially, the crime team fully traced Parveen's call history and compared it with Pankaj, but couldn't find a single message or call. However, they noticed Parveen frequently calling one number. Upon investigation, it was none other than Shanta Sharma. At first, the police thought that since both were thick friends, frequent calls were normal. But this changed when they went through their chat history. Shanta and Parveen not only exchanged normal chats, but also shared private pictures and explicit messages. Even more disturbing was that when police showed Pankaj the chats, he wasn't shocked. That's because he already knew that Shanta and Parveen had physical relationship. However, he was too scared to talk about it, fearing judgmental from his family and society. Now with all these details, police began investigating Shanta Sharma. Initially, she denied everything, but once police began their interrogation by showing her chats and call history, Shanta began talking. Shanta and Parveen had been friends since their teenage years, and over time, their friendship took a different turn. Both realized that the society would never accept what was going on between them. So to avoid criticism, they married different men but continued their relationship in secret. There were even times when Shanta, Parveen and her child went out together to movies, parks to avoid any suspicious. On the day of incident, Shanta wasn't at work in the restaurant. She was at home with Parveen. On the other side, Shanta kid was on his way back from his school. He entered the house thinking both his parents were at work, but what the kid saw not only ended his life, he did so in the most horrible way. He witnessed Shanta and Parveen in an inappropriate situation, more precisely, a physical one. After seeing this, Shanta and Parveen felt that they had no choice but to kill him out of fear of being caught. Parveen took a large stone and started hitting the innocent boy. Cut him with a knife and threw whatever she could find at him, ultimately ending his life. The fact was that his own mother Shanta was also part of the murder. To cover this crime, Parveen even visited the house the next day to console Shanta over her son's death, trying to remove any doubts about her involvement. But as we know, no matter how smart we think we are while committing crimes, evidence is often left behind long before the crime itself. Police collected all evidence, arrested Shanta Sharma and Parveen. Their case is still ongoing, as Pankaj, Shanta's own husband, is pleading and crying on court hearings, saying that his wife and Parveen should be sentenced to death for killing his own son. Personally for me, the way Parveen had committed this murder, I believe she had some kind of grudge way long back, and when the time came, she did went the bad way. Usually we say don't trust anyone except your parents, but after going through this case, not sure what to believe. Please do consider subscribing. I will see you all again on the next video. Until then, Christiana signing off.